You gave them every chance, every opportunity to see the real you, to treat you right, to stand with you. But they didn't care, did they? They didn't see your value. They thought your silence meant you were weak. They mistook your kindness for a lack of strength. And now it's too late. Because today, the quiet turns into a storm. And when it does, nothing will be the same again. It always starts with trust, doesn't it? You give it freely, thinking that if you offer your loyalty, your effort, your love, they'll appreciate it. You believed that loyalty was something that mattered. You believed people were worth investing in. But the truth of this world, loyalty means nothing to those who only look out for themselves. They took you for granted. Every time you stayed quiet when they hurt you, every time you chose not to speak up, not to fight back, they thought it was weakness. They didn't know you were giving them time to change, time to see the damage they were causing. But they never did. You watched them betray you, maybe in small ways at first. A lie here, a broken promise there. It didn't seem like much, but those little things add up. And when the big betrayal came, you saw it coming from a mile away, didn't you? You knew it was only a matter of time before they showed their true colors. And when they finally did, it broke something inside you. But not in the way they hoped. They thought you'd crumble. They expected you to fall apart, to wallow in your misery. They thought the silence they left you with would be a prison. What they didn't know was that silence isn't a cage. It's a forge. Pain has a way of sharpening you, doesn't it? The more they pushed you down, the clearer things became. You started to see the world for what it really is. You saw that in this life, nobody is going to save you. There are no heroes coming to your rescue. The people you thought would fight for you, they were only looking out for themselves. But here's the thing about pain. It's not the end. It's the beginning. Every sleepless night, every tear you swallowed, every moment you felt like giving up, it all became fuel. You stopped looking for comfort. You stopped waiting for someone to understand your struggle. Instead, you turned that pain inward. You forged it into something powerful, something unbreakable. And in the silence, the storm began to form. Revenge isn't about rage. It's not about lashing out in the heat of the moment. No, the most powerful revenge comes from patience, from planning, from becoming something so far beyond their expectations that they won't even recognize you when the storm finally hits. While they moved on, thinking they'd broken you, you were working in the shadows. They never saw it because you didn't need to make noise. You didn't need their validation. You didn't need them to see your struggle. You knew what you were building. Every day, you got stronger. You worked on yourself, mentally and physically. You learned to live without them, without their approval, without their support. And in that silence, you became more than they ever imagined. They thought your silence meant the storm had passed. But what they didn't realize is that the storm was only growing, quietly, steadily, until it became unstoppable. There's always a moment when everything shifts. A moment when you realize you no longer care about their opinions, their validation, or their approval. That's when the storm takes shape. It's not about proving them wrong anymore. It's not about making them see what they lost. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. A version of yourself that no longer needs revenge to feel whole, because you've already won. But here's the thing. They still need to see it. They need to understand that the person they tried to break has become someone they can't even reach anymore. That's where the real revenge lies, not in destruction, but in growth. In becoming so untouchable that their words, their actions, their betrayal no longer have power over you. And that moment, that's the day the quiet turns into a storm. You don't announce your arrival. You don't scream or shout. The storm doesn't need a warning. It speaks for itself. When you rise, you do it silently, but with a force that shakes everything around you. The people who thought you were weak, who laughed at your silence, they finally realize their mistake. And by the time they do, it's too late. You've already built a life they can't touch. You've already become someone they can't reach. Your success, your strength, your peace, It's the loudest revenge there is. And the beauty of it, you never had to lift a finger against them. The storm isn't about tearing them down. It's about rising so high that they have no choice but to look up. And now, the storm has passed. The rage, the pain, the need for revenge. It's all behind you. What's left is clarity, peace. You've learned the most important lesson there is. Revenge isn't about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your strength, your life. And once you've done that, they no longer matter. Because in the end, the quiet storm isn't just about vengeance. It's about transformation. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs revenge to feel whole, because you've already won. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. Never underestimate the quiet. Never assume that silence means weakness. Because the people who move in silence are the ones you should fear the most. They don't need to make noise to be dangerous. They don't need to announce their intentions. They move with purpose, with patience, with precision. And when the time comes, they strike with a force that no one saw coming. You are that storm. And the day the quiet turns into a storm is the day you reclaim everything they tried to take from you. When the storm hits, you won't be the same person they knew. And that's the beauty of it. When they finally look at you, they won't recognize the person standing before them, because the storm doesn't just destroy what's outside, it transforms what's within. Every scar, every betrayal, every moment of silence was a lesson. You built yourself from the ground up, not with their help, but in spite of them. And now, you've become untouchable. Not because they can't hurt you again, but because you no longer care if they do. That's real power. When their actions no longer carry weight. When the storm within you has become a fortress, and nothing can break through. They say silence is loud, and that's true. But it's also heavy. Carrying your battles alone, without anyone knowing the war raging inside you, takes strength. There were nights when the weight of it crushed your chest, when you felt like the silence would suffocate you. Nights when you wanted to scream, to cry, to let someone, anyone, know what you were going through. But you didn't. And that's what makes you different. While others complained, you stayed silent. While they searched for pity, you searched for strength. And in that silence, you found something more valuable than sympathy. You found yourself. The best kind of revenge doesn't require words. It doesn't need you to explain yourself or prove your point. It's silent, deliberate, and final. They expect you to lash out. They expect you to argue, to fight for your place in their world. But you've learned the truth. You don't need their world. The most powerful thing you can do is disappear from the spaces they thought they controlled. To walk away without a word, without anger. Just a quiet, calculated absence that says everything. When they realize you're no longer there, that they no longer have power over you, that is the moment your revenge is complete. The day will come when they realize what they've lost. When your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. And they will come back. They always do. They'll reach out, thinking they still have a way in. They'll try to remind you of the good times, pretend the damage wasn't as bad as it was. They'll say they miss the person you used to be, hoping to pull you back into their world. But that person no longer exists. The storm changed you, and there's no going back. And that's the moment you'll realize you don't need their apology. You don't need their validation. You've already moved on. Revenge isn't just about destruction, it's about rebuilding. It's about taking everything they tried to destroy and making it even better. Not for them, but for yourself. You're not the same person you were before the storm. You've become wiser, stronger, sharper. And now, you have the freedom to build a life that belongs only to you. It's not about impressing anyone or proving them wrong. It's about creating something so meaningful, so unbreakable, that even if they never see it, you'll know you won. There's a saying, the best revenge is massive success. And it's true. But here's the thing, success isn't just about money or status. It's about peace. It's waking up without the weight of resentment on your chest. It's building a life so good that their absence feels like a gift, not a loss. It's reaching a point where you look back at everything they did and feel nothing. No anger, no bitterness, just clarity. When you reach that point, you'll know the storm has done its job. Not because it destroyed them, but because it transformed you. Even if they never admit it, they'll feel the storm you unleashed. Not through chaos or destruction, but through your absence, your success, your peace. They'll see the life you've built without them and realize they were nothing more than a passing shadow in your journey. And that realization will haunt them far longer than any argument or confrontation ever could. Because the most painful revenge isn't what you do to them. It's what they realize they can no longer do to you. And now, the storm is over. Not because you gave up or gave in, but because you chose to let go. You've learned the most valuable lesson there is. Revenge isn't about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, your life. And once you've done that, nothing else matters. The quiet storm wasn't a moment. It was a transformation. A reminder that silence isn't weakness, and stillness isn't surrender. It's preparation. It's growth. It's the calm before the storm, and the peace that comes after. Now you stand tall, unshaken, and unbroken. They thought they could control your story, but they were only a chapter in it. And you've already moved on to the next page. The storm has passed, and in its wake, you found something even more powerful than revenge, freedom. And now, it's over. The storm has passed, and you stand taller, stronger, unbroken. They thought they could silence you, but all they did was awaken a power they couldn't understand. The quiet storm isn't just a moment, it's a mindset. It's the understanding that you don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to fight to win. All you need is patience, focus, and the knowledge that when the time is right, you will rise. And when you do, the world will never be the same. The day the quiet turned into a storm wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Not of revenge, but of transformation. And now, the storm is over, and you are free. Free from their control, their opinions, their betrayal. Because in the end, the real victory isn't in revenge. It's in becoming everything they said you couldn't be. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.